Hey everybody, am I actually live? I think I am. How are you doing? It is Dr. Cindy Stark here coming in live for my Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have been having meetings all day long trying to really make sure that I am doing the best I can to help you guys be the best that you can be in your life and me and my business. And I just wanted to come in and share some things that I just learned and clarify some uh, other things. So I come in here every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, really telling you kind of what's near and dear on my heart, trying to share with you things like some truths that maybe I learned with my last few days since the last Tuesday. Uh, at the bedsides of America, because I do feel like sometimes I am able to see things kind of from a different perspective that other people are not able to see. Hey, Allison, it's so good to see you. Thank you for being here today. And this week I'm up in Blairsville. I'm by this beautiful creek again in this tiny home where I am up in Warren, North Carolina. I just love it up here. And it really gives me time to be completely alone so I can really reflect on life and what it is that I'm here to do. And one of my business meetings this morning, the gentleman asked us to think about if we were on our deathbed, what would we want to have said about our life? And I think about that all the time because of the different people that I'm taking care of, and they literally, quite literally, are on their deathbed, and that they'll never go home from this hospital stay. And so I think about that often. And one thing that I know is one of the most important things that I could do in my life is to help people like you learn the lessons that I've learned, so that we don't live a life of regret. And for any of you guys that don't know me, my name is Dr. Cindy Stark. I'm a resiliency expert. I feel like I've been a trailblazer in my life in a lot of different ways. I've had a lot of things happen to me where I do things a lot differently than other people have. I see opportunities and I take advantage of them. To help the most people. And anytime I see an obstacle, I always am able to just somehow find ways to obliterate obstacles and find a way for a solution as I see it. If you guys are coming in, hey Sabrina, if you guys are coming in here live, if you can type in hashtag live, and if you're coming in on the replay, type in hashtag replay. I would love to see where you guys are from. But so this morning I had spoke to my mom. She is 78 years old and she was going to the gym, and I had run across something on Instagram that was asking you, giving you a list of 7 questions to ask your mom and dad if they're still alive. And I wrote them down so that so I can share them with you. And then I want to get into just a little bit of why my program called Soul Circle Academy is a 12-week transformational program where we literally rewire your subconscious mind. And I'm going to tell you how that program works in a nutshell, and then why it will help you have really good relationships, not just with your moms and dads if they're still alive, but also with yourself. You really can't have a more important relationship with anybody than the one that you have with yourself. Hey Melissa, it's so good to see you. Okay, so these are the questions that I asked my mom this morning as she was sitting in the parking lot at the gym waiting for her time with her personal trainer at 78 years old. What is your happiest memory of us? And I don't know if she would mind if I shared it. So I want to maybe share with you the answers that she came up with because they were just so sweet. And her favorite memory of me and her was when I took her to Fort Lauderdale once before she had shoulder replacement surgery, because I had just seen a patient die of that surgery the week before. And so I just had this awful thought, what if my mom dies getting an elective shoulder replacement surgery done? So I took her to Fort Lauderdale, and we had the best time with my son Wyatt there. We were on the beach, renting bicycles and eating shoshito peppers, which I had never heard of before at that time. And there were mermaids swimming in our hotel lobby, kind of like behind a glass. And then the other question is that if you still have your mom and dad, that you could ask your mom and dad, what was your first year of motherhood like for you? And listen to this, guys. She said she had just turned 19 a week before she became a mother. She had no idea what she was doing, and she feels like she would have lost her ever loving mind if it wouldn't have been for her mother and her sister there. And I'm like, how would a 19-year-old ever know what to do with a brand new baby? She said, I just thought a mothering instinct would kick in and I would know how to do all this. And she was very wrong. Number three, is there anything about your family's history that you've kept a secret? I don't necessarily have to share her answer to that. Next, what is the nicest thing I've ever done for you? And she said it's when I took care of her after her hip surgery. It was just last year, but I stopped everything I did. And the one thing she remembered was that I made a an Excel. Well, it really wasn't Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, but it was just a spreadsheet, like a grid I did with my pen and paper that I did of all her medicines that she had to take and the medicines to counteract the side effects of the other medicines. And she just loved that I completely put an entire week of my life on hold to love on her and take care of her after her hip replacement surgery. Next one is, what do you want most or wish most for your kids? And she said, just to be happy and to have your minds as sharp as possible. Next, Mom, I hope if you're on here that you don't mind me sharing your answers, but I just got the biggest kick out of this. It just started my day off in the best way this morning. What has been the best and worst things for you about getting older? And so the best thing is that she said she still had a zest for life, and the worst thing is that she's forgetful now. She can't remember where she puts things, and that really drives her crazy. And the last question is, what would be the one thing you would want us to remember about you when you're gone? And she said, how much I loved you. There are just like no words that can explain how much I love you, and you guys are just the light of my life. And the brightest spots of my days. And all three of us are still alive, and my mom and dad are still alive. And she said she always also wants us to remember how happy she always was. And anyway, she said, you brighten me up and you lighten me up and you make me want to go on. So anyway, it started me thinking this beautiful conversation I had with my mom. And like I said, if you have your moms and dads still alive, those 7 questions are really eye-opening and just beautiful. She actually told her personal trainer about them, and he asked to write those down so he can ask his mom about them too. But it made me realize that not everybody has a relationship with their parents where they can talk with them openly like this. And she herself was sharing with me that a lot of her friends in Sunday school, they don't have relationships with their grandkids where they don't go and see them in plays or see them in football games or whatever. They just almost seem like they're like not on their priority list, or kind of like their grandkids are kind of like a waste of their time. And I personally think the best thing we can do in this life is to have an influence on those of us around us. And if we're not having influence on our kids and our spouses and our friends and our grandkids, then literally who are we having influence on? And so it got me thinking about my program and how it helps us to have so much better relationships with everybody in our life, whether it is with yourself or your spouse, your siblings, your coworkers, your kids, your mom, dad, everything. And the reason is that 95% of what we believe is possible in our lives were implanted in our subconscious mind before we were even 7 or 8 years old. And the beliefs are up there completely preventing us from doing things and seeing things that are here available in our lives. And we don't even realize why we're not going for it, why we're doing certain things, why we're not doing other things. What we see is available for our health, our longevity, our lifestyle, our relationships. And it was all created, 95% of it, before we were even 7 years old, and it's running the show. And there's no reason when you get to be as old as me, and I'm 53 years old, but even if you're 30, and I've had clients as my youngest client has been 30 that has gone through the program all the way up to 75 years old. But there's no reason that you can't have access to everything that's here available in life. And it starts by being willing to see things differently and to know that you're not where you want to be in your life right now, and that there are relationships out there that are not as full of life and full of zest as you want them to be. And I don't care if it's relationships that aren't right, or dreams that you want in your life that you're not experiencing, or just confidence for yourself to just go out and do anything that you want to do differently in your life. I want you to know that you can change all of that. And it starts again by the willingness to look at things how they are, take a really good clear cut, clear, open assessment of where things are right now, and then partnering up with someone who has been in the nitty gritty. It will teach you how your brain works, teach you a simple 3-step process. I always say it's simple but not easy. Simple 3-step process where we go through influence by influence, every single person that's had an influence on your life. And then we go through that one by one, and we learn so much in just clearing our influences in my program. It's a 12-week program. The first 8 weeks, so the first one is going through history appointment, where we see what your influences are. The next 7 weeks are we go through 7 influences one by one by one. We get such an observer point of view, and we go through and we realize all these different emotions that have come up with each and every influence, all the inner children that have something to say with you, to you right now, with how that person has shown up in your life. You're able to do this process where we drop down through the heart of that influence, and we see how it is that they have actually been operating in this world. Then we resource our inner children, we cut the cords, we go through this hue of light where all of God's love, light, healing, and understanding are. And it is the most eye-opening experience you can go through. And that's just one relationship. And we go through 7. And then I give you the clearing meditation tape, so you can go through 30 if you want to. I actually went through 36 when I cleared my reticular activating system. And I got sick and tired of having those limiting beliefs hold me back from where I wanted to go in the world, from the relationships I was able to have with my kid's dad and with my kids, and most importantly me. And then what I was seeing as possible as vocation in this world. Okay, so that's step 1, influences. Step 2 are emotions. We clear the top 4 emotions. Okay, we spend 2 weeks doing this in my program. First week we do 3 emotions, the next week we do the next 3 emotions. We clear anger and how it can spill over into rage. Then we clear sadness and how it can spill over into depression. Then we clear fear and how it can spill over into anxiety, and then guilt and how it spills over into shame. And then the next week we do 3 more. We do 3 and then 3. And everybody, this is not a one-size-fits-all program. You have your own unique emotions that are completely holding you up and holding you back from the life that you're meant to live. And I'm so sick and tired of seeing people not living the life that they want to live, and they act like they can't fix it. And the reason is that they really can't fix it, because every other thing that we've done in our life, they just clear the conscious brain. They don't even go into the subconscious brain. So everything you've gone through in your life is not going to work, because you're just going to bounce right back to where you were. With every single person, every influence, unless you're, it's like a rubber band almost. If you don't get everything out at the root, you're going to go, your gestalts or your bags of emotions are going to fill right back up to where they were all the time. And it happens quicker and quicker and quicker, because we're not getting to the root of it and clearing out where these things originated in the first place. Okay, the last 2 weeks of my program are the beliefs, and all a belief is something that you've told yourself about the world, and the things that made you think these things about the world. And again, 95% of them were created by the time we were 7 or 8 years old. So if you wonder why you're not getting places that you want to in your life, it's because you've never done the work to get to the root of these things. But it's an outside influence, and that can be a person or a place or a thing, coupled with a deep emotion. And every one of those are tethered. So after we clear out the emotions, right? First we clear out the step 1, influences. Step 2, emotions. Step 3, beliefs. And we have to do it in the order that the trauma was introduced in your life, or the scaffolding doesn't fall. And then and only then, once all that scaffolding falls, and once we clear out all your specific limiting beliefs, then you have access to all of your brain again. And if anyone was not on my workshop where I went through this process and I did a slideshow and the actual an emotion clearing, if you want that replay, please just of the workshop, just type in workshop and I will email it to you. I recorded it and I'll email it to you. And then I would just love to have a conversation with you on how that process worked with you and how it's feeling in your body now, and just help you deepen your learning of not only the brain, but how you can have access to the brain. Very passionate about this, if you can't tell, because I'm sick and tired of seeing people come to me when they're like 75 to 85 years old and their whole life is over and they didn't even have a chance to live their life as they really wanted it. And so I would love to help you. My calendar is open. My heart is open. My brain is open. I'm here to help you. I'm going to look at the comments here. That was me. This is great stuff, Cindy. Mernalini. Thank you, Mernalini. I love you, girl. I love everybody that's on this call right now. Thank y'all for being here today. It is my passion to help everybody get back their resiliency in their life that they never even knew how to get in the first place because we were never taught these tools, guys. So it is my joy and my honor and my pleasure to walk each one of y'all hand by hand into being resilient, into being that trailblazer that you are meant to be in this life. If God has led you here to me today, then let's figure it out. Let's make it work, okay? Write down here if you want me to send you that workshop replay. If you want any more information about my program, you can type in the word program or you can DM me, and I would love to get on a call and tell y'all how this could work for you and make the rest of this year and the rest of your life the best years of your life. But I love you guys. I hope y'all are having a fantastic, terrific Tuesday. Take care, and I'll be here next Tuesday with more good stuff. Take care. See you later.